Bitches? Guess who's back? I know I haven't released a video in, let's see, carry the one, about a little more than 2 years, I think. The reason for that being, where I'm living right now, I have no internet access, and even worse than that, I don't have a functioning computer. I'm actually recording this on my phone right now because over the last couple of months, movies have come out, games have come out, and I really haven't had a creative outlet to express my thoughts on said films. Case in point, the Venom movie. A film that has amazingly proven that Sony can actually do something right when they actually put an iota of thought into it. Now, before you guys get on the comment section or whatever the fuck you like to do and start lighting your torches and sharpening your pitchforks, let me make something abundantly clear. I'm not going to talk shit about the Venom movie because I have a rule that says I do not judge movies or games that I myself have not watched or played. Because, let's face it, if I haven't watched the movie or played the game, then it's not really fair for me to make an assessment on it. I haven't seen Venom, so I really don't have any place to talk shit about it. I'm just going off of reviews I've seen, interviews I've heard, stuff like that. And based on what I've heard, Venom's not that bad. Granted, a lot of critics are more than willing to crucify it online, but the overall consensus is that it's not that bad of a movie. I'm sure I'll get a chance to see it sooner or later, and when I do, then I'll decide whether or not I want to talk shit about it. But that's not what I'm here to talk about. As we all know, Sony still has a deal intact with Marvel and Disney that says they are allowed to use Spider-Man in the MCU, and we all were overjoyed to hear this. Well, as many of us know, I would hope people who keep up with this kind of stuff would know, Marvel and Disney have one movie left to use Tom Holland's Spider-Man, which is probably going to be the third Spider-Man movie in their little trilogy thing. After that, sadly, Spider-Man goes back to Sony. And we've heard all kinds of people, Avia Red and whoever that bitch in charge of Sony Films is, say, oh, well, we're going to use Spider-Man and Venom. If there's one thing Sony has proven over the years, it's that they are willing to lie to their consumers in order to boost ticket sales, instead of trying to rely on their own merits, which is kind of sad when you think about it. It's like that. Point being, I know Sony is inevitably going to get Spider-Man back. That's going to happen. There's nothing we can do about that shit. Unless, Sony fucks everything up and their stock starts to tank. Wishful thinking. But, here's the thing. I have heard numerous interviews from these people saying that they want to put Spider-Man in the Venom movies. My question to that is, why? Venom has clearly proven that it is more than capable of standing on its own 2 feet. Not only that, but you've already set it up to put freaking Carnage in the sequel. That name alone is going to sell tickets. People love Venom. People love Carnage. That's going to sell tickets. Why do you need Spider-Man in that? And based on, reviews I've heard, it doesn't really make that much sense to put Spider-Man in your Venom movies. If anything, it seems like putting Spider-Man in the Venom franchise at this point would kind of be taking away from Venom more than it would be benefiting it, I don't see why Sony can't just make Spider-Man a solo film and, I don't know, maybe have Venom and Spider-Man butt heads later on down the road. It just, from a creative standpoint at least, it just doesn't make sense to me to put Spider-Man in a franchise if the main character of the franchise is already doing well on its own. You see what I'm saying? And also, there's also, Sony's track record with Spider-Man, which I still have not forgiven them for, by the way. It's kind of why I still have a thorn up my ass when it comes to Sony films. Which Sony has so far proven that Venom can be a franchise. I haven't seen Into the Spider-Verse either, though I have heard good things about it. Apparently that's more than likely going to be a franchise. And, what else do they have? Morbius. Let me ask you something. Does anybody who hasn't read the comics seriously know who the fuck Michael Morbius is? I mean, not to say that Michael Morbius isn't a cool character. He is. He's an awesome character. It's just, when you introduce a character that people don't really have that much knowledge about, needless to say, one or two people are probably going to raise an eyebrow about it and be like, what? So, I don't know what Sony is actually thinking, to be honest. Over the last couple of years, it's really hard to tell what the fuck they're thinking about nowadays, but to each their own. So, yeah. I just think putting Spider-Man in Venom at this point is kind of a stupid idea. I mean, again, if Sony's going to get back the rights to Spider-Man, which we all know it's going to happen, why not just put Spider-Man in his own solo outings? Because, I mean, let's face it, for a lot of, like, hardcore comic fans like myself, especially when it comes to the Amazing Spider-Man movies, Sony kind of has left a bad taste in our mouth when it comes to them and Spider-Man. If they really want to make Spider-Man a success under their banner, I would suggest they probably should try making a solo Spider-Man movie first. You know, to show fans that they're capable of making a decent Spider-Man movie. You know, build that brand. You know, try to show that, hey, Marvel's not the only one who knows how to tell a good Spider-Man story, brah. And then, after you've established that you can do a successful Spider-Man movie, then have him and Venom kind of clash together, you know? So, yeah, that's just my 2 cents, and I just wanted to get that off my chest. So, thanks for listening. Hopefully this won't be the last video I make. I'm sorry for the guerrilla-style cinematography. Hopefully I'll get a computer before long and a new video camera, which also decided to crap out on me. Yeah, I know, fuck my life, right? So, thanks for watching this video. Hopefully it won't be the last one, and until then, in case I don't see ya, good morning, good afternoon, and good night.